So today is Thursday, supposed to be Thready Thursday, but as I said on my community posts, my right hand continues to go numb. So makes it very difficult to hold on to a needle. So can't really cross stitch right now. Um, so I figured I would just have a play while we sit and talk. Um, I'm doing what's called wax paper or waxing paper, making waxed paper, depends on how you want to say it. Hello, Miss Minnie. Um, there's lots of different ways you can do this. There's like pellets that you can buy, um, all kinds of different products. I did come across a video that was just using like a dollar store candle and she was scraping the wax out. And I was like, oh, brilliant. That's a cheap way to do that. And then it dawned on me that I've got all these Scentsy bars because our Scentsy doesn't work anymore. Um, so might as well use them, right? So started doing the waxing paper. So this is the pile that I did last night, and I'll show you kind of the difference between them. So this is the original paper. Can't see through it at all. No translucency. And then with waxing it, you can't really see on camera, but it's still dark, but you can see through it to some degree. You'll be able to see it better on the brown papers. Just tossing those off to the side. This one, again, can't see through it. You can see my hand. So create some translucency there. I had 3 pages of that done last night. Whoops. This was the start of one. This was picking up extra wax last night before I went to bed. This is the original paper, and I will be finishing this one today. Put that up there in my pile. But this is what it looks like done. Kind of cool. Very little bit of translucency, but not as much as the other brown paper. What's really cool about this is because it's waxed, although this paper already has creases and stuff in it because the paper, it's just the way the paper was. But watch. What that does is it breaks that wax and gives you a weathered leather look. And if you decide that you do that and you don't like it, to fix it, all you have to do is re-iron it. And it goes back to looking the way it was, which is really cool. And I am going to re-iron that one. So I had to play with some of my other papers that I have. So this was coffee stained on my rusty pan. So it's got all the, let me scoot over so I get a little bit better in frame here. All the rusty stuff comes through on the papers. I love that look, but thought I'd play with it a little bit. This is a page of the Japanese sheet music that is coffee stained. I waxed it and kind of see through it. Gives everything just, a level of translucency. I did some pattern paper. I love the feel of it. Some regular old lined paper. More sheet music that, again, was done on my rusty pan. That's what all the brown spots are. It pulls that rust into the paper. Always my favorites. Just a thick. This paper's thick to begin with. What I don't like about this is it actually, you can see the pattern that's on the backside through the front. So I probably would not do that with this one again. And this is the big legal size paper. Again, stained on random leaf. Stained on that rusty pan. And then this is just wax paper that I use to keep, try to keep as much of the wax off my iron. And so you can see it soaks through, pushes out some hospital gown. I told a story about these a long time ago, why I have a bunch of those. And then underneath that, I also have a piece of felt, and I am on my regular table. But when I was doing this last night, when I went to pull the hospital gown up, it was actually glued to my table. And at first I thought that was really strange, but then it dawned on me that there's probably a whole bunch of glue on my table. And so ironing on top of it heated all that glue up, and then it glued the hospital gown to my table. So I'll show you the difference. When you re-iron it, it goes back. I'll show you one of the things that I'm going to do with this. So what the video that I have to be careful not to breathe in though. Oops, and I just realized this is upside. I had it on the side that always had contact with the wax. I know I have wax on my iron. I have to remember not to breathe in over it because it's probably not good to breathe in that smoke, but I don't know. And it makes me want to cough when I do breathe it in. So, yeah. Simple fix. So in the crafting world, there's this product called washi tape, and people are always on the quest to find washi tape that they like. I'm not a big fan of washi tape, but the video that I was watching on this, what led me to do this was she made these, she did the paper and then she cut them into 1/2-inch strips. And then what she could do from there is, oops, almost knocked everything over. Cut a little strip off of it. Grab one of my envelopes that I made yesterday. And you can use it as like a faux washi. You can kind of see through it. I don't know how well that's coming up on camera. But yeah. And because it's waxed, you can't use just like regular glue. When I go to use it, I'll have to use my Fabrifix because a water-based glue is not going to glue a waxy product. So what I was doing last night, I was following the lead of the video that I watched, and I was using a knife and I was shaving off pieces of the candle wax. And then it dawned on me this morning that I could just heat the paper and then rub the wax on. It's like, duh. And there'd be less waste that way. Because what I was finding I was having to do is after I would do a page, I'd have to put, like this one, I'd have to put another piece of paper over the top of it to absorb all the extra. Hopefully this way, there's not all the extra. Or not as much extra, maybe. Saw a spot down here that I missed. And she was using her heat gun, the video that I was watching, which I could do, but my heat gun is really loud. I don't know how she has such a quiet one. Now, one of the downsides to using my Sensi's is that, you know, not all of them are just a vanilla color. So I've got a few, but not a lot. So I'm just going to kind of see if I can spread around what I have here. Wish they made Bluetooth irons. Cords always drive me crazy. Especially since, I don't really have I don't own a stand-up ironing board or anything like that. So it still has a lot of excess. I was hoping that doing it the way I was would have resolved that, but nope. So that's okay. That is okay. So doing the faux washi is the primary reason that I decided to do this. But in the video that I was watching, she actually made some like envelopes out of it, and she made a book cover, a journal cover. Because again, when you're doing it with the brown, it makes it look like leather once you crinkle it. So I may be giving that a try. In case you didn't know, the paper gets really hot. I'm just kind of trying to move around that extra that's hanging out. Especially on the sewing paper because it's pretty thin. It's quite absorbent. Missed a couple spots. There's a You can see it pulled all that excess off of there. There's just a couple more spots here. Right there. It feels so cool. Do some more of this Japanese sheet music. Again, all I'm going to do here is just get it hot. Stupid cord. Move some of this around. It's weird, this paper is really thin, but it got really super hot. So it melted an excess amount of wax just now. I don't know if you can see how shiny it is. There's a lot of wax on there. Pull down a sheet of my coffee stained paper that's got patterns on it. A part of this paper will not be used. It's got some information on the back that always shows through, regardless of what I do. And the fact that I'm going to be making it translucent means that information is going to shine through even more. So I'll be cutting that piece of paper off and putting it out into the fire bin. This is a entry form from Fair last year, so it's got exhibitor information on it. So again, all I'm doing right now is absorbing any extra wax off the last sheet that I did. You can see how much was there. It's crazy. Ta-da. Right now it feels a little sticky, which is weird because none of the other papers feel sticky, but this one does. And what you're going to do is you're just letting those dry, letting them sit. Overnight is ideal before you try to craft with them. Ouch! Iron's hot. I'm trying to keep them together. Things are not sliding the way they normally do. Well, I guess I can't say normally because I only did this once. I've only done this once before. But Now you could do this with crayons. Crayons or wax. So got little kids at home that break their crayons, and you have all these tiny little bits that they can't color with anymore. Use them to wax some paper. Whew, I just took a big breath in. That was a bad idea. So yeah, you can see how much of the writing comes through now. So I'll cut this part off. But I don't know how well you can see the pattern there. Ouch! So what are you up to today, sis? Since we're supposed to be having a chat and no one's here and you're not talking. Oh, shoot. Just listening. How are the kiddos? I was just thinking the stickiness might actually be from the flavor wax. Because it's a different one than I used last night. So maybe there's a different something. Watching Minecraft. Of course she is. Eventually she'll come running in to say something and realize that she can hear me. Which is always funny. Be nice. I'm gonna try this. See if I can just kind of like color in a way. Let's see what happens there. kind of worked. Not as good as I'd hoped. Trying to find a way to not burn my fingers as much. Okay. Uh-oh, got the headphones on, dishwasher's going. Yeah. Ouchie. I should have done dishes before I started this, but just because, that would have been the adult thing to do. Seems to be an awful lot of wax left over on this one. Use some more lined paper. Not sure what I'm going to do with the lined paper, because it doesn't really aesthetically, it's not cute, I guess, at least in my opinion, for a journal cover. Yeah, if I can just get it to move like that under the iron, it would be so much more helpful. Pull this up. Just a coffee dyed paper. Oh, there's still wax under there. All right, well, let's move it a little further onto the wax paper. This was kind of cool paper. It's wax paper in and of itself. I bought it off Wish, I believe it was. Might have been AliExpress. Don't remember for certain. I bought it a long time ago, and I don't think I've ever actually used it in a junk journal. So, at least it's getting used for something. usually have wax paper in my house. This was another coffee stained using a placemat. Hoping I don't regret doing this because I love this paper. Love the way it turned out. It sucks that my hand keeps falling asleep. Oh, that's interesting. It's got some of the it pulled some of the ink from that last one. So that might be a way to make this more pleasing as a journal cover, is to take some of that paper that had the printing on it, the exhibitor information. You can't read it, but to use it as a transfer to kind of like stamp. I'll have to give that a try. So I'm wondering what this is going to look like with colored wax. Like I would assume that it will color the paper. You know, as colored wax isn't going to suddenly not have color in it simply because it's not being used as a candle, right? I will also note these are not Scentsy brand candle bars. They are Walmart brand, or Better Homes brand that we bought at Walmart. So any Scentsy dealers out there having a heart attack at the price of these that are being melted, no worries. Oh, this is another one that's got the exhibitor information on it. So I'm going to grab this back. Let's see if I can purposely transfer some of that. Or we'll see if this ends up being my Doctor Who moment all over again. I was dyeing some papers and stuff for a Doctor Who journal, and some of the paper, some of the images from one paper transferred to the next one during the during the dyeing and drying process. And it looked really cool. And I was like, woo! And then I tried to recreate it. And I couldn't recreate it. I couldn't recreate it. I could not get it to happen again. So frustrating. Because it looked cool. It was a cool effect. That's really hot. And of course it didn't work. No transfer. But what a cool design, huh? I love this placemat. I'll probably play with some of the colored. So, and go warm, crackling campfire or grapefruit melon sage. What do I want to smell right now? Let's see. Let's do campfire. It doesn't smell much like a campfire, but that's okay. It doesn't look like it's leaving any of the color to compare the two. I can't be alone in thinking that it would have transferred the color, right? Just moving some of it around here. Whew, it's got a big whiff. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. Stop burning me. Is that what you're doing? Hanging out in your craft room doing your diamond painting? Mamma mia. Oh, at the kitchen table. I will say there does seem to be something in this scent that is particularly irritating to my nasal cavities. I almost dropped my iron. No, I don't see any difference. Let's turn my fan on behind me. I have to deal with blowing papers, but that's okay. Needed a little bit more ventilation going on. See if I can just get the paper to just keep moving like this. It would be way beneficial. I wouldn't have to keep moving it. I only have one of these, so. Even though it doesn't smell like a campfire like it's supposed to, it actually has. Yeah, it doesn't smell like a campfire. Just use it and get it over with. I debated on whether or not. Yay. That stayed very hot all the way down. That was kind of nice. On whether or not just to work on my diamond painting today. think I just realized that my top sheet is upside down again. So again, looks really cool. Absorb some of. The good thing about, see, this is, you can tell how thick this paper is. I guess the good thing about it is that it takes a lot more. So it can really absorb from other pages a lot better. See? Almost missed the table again with my iron. I don't know how well you can see my hand a little bit through it versus this. Can't see my hand. You can see my hand. This is going to look cool, I think. Cut into strips to make the faux washi. But again, it's got to sit over there, and it's got to sit overnight is what it recommends. I was impatient with it last night, hence already having some cut into strips. Didn't seem any worse for wear by not waiting last night, though. I just, I waited a couple hours. This paper doesn't even want to heat up. There we go. It's weird. The edge didn't want to heat. It was weird. I guess it's good to know that the color wax doesn't matter. It doesn't change the color of the paper. I don't know that I will ever understand that, because I would think there's some kind of dye in the wax paper to give it the color. So I don't know. Just put it down under there. See, and this one's not so bad because they're actually, I don't mind it as much. I can still see what's on the back coming through. but they're not. It's, 2 bars, 2 bars, 2 bars, 2 bars, same on this side. So the other one was like 2, and then there was 2 on this side, but there was 3 on the back. So then it had this weird shadow. I grab a baby wipe. That's the other downside to this, is if you're texture focused, you might take exception with the way the wax makes your fingers feel. Let's see. More pattern paper, but in a different color. I'm not sure what I'm going to use the pattern paper for. I just thought it would be a cool experiment. And it's going to want to run around on me because, again, I got the fan going. Pulling some from the wax paper underneath. I like. My fan is working against me right now. In case I haven't said it lately, ouch, irons are hot. I would also think that it would go without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. Obviously, if you're going to engage in this activity, you don't want to use your house iron. You don't want to use the iron that you iron the clothes with. Go to the secondhand store, pick up a cheap iron. I don't know why this isn't. There it goes. I'm like, why isn't this hot anymore? Oh, that's a hole. think my iron is cooling off too fast because the fan's going behind us. Because, yeah, you wouldn't think that I would be having this much trouble with thin pattern paper. My iron keeps kicking off and then on and then off and then on and off and on. I think once I finish this pattern paper, I'm going to call it good for today. Maybe in a future, after I watch a few videos on how to use this waxed paper, maybe I'll come back and show you how I use it. Things are not cooperating with me right now either, and it's really frustrating me. I got it all. Oh, looks like I might have some wax that I need to pick up first before I a little bit right there. Get more right here. Oh, hey, Wanda. I am waxing paper. Well, in that case, I am tearing paper. I just tore it a little bit, but that's okay. And different types of paper. So I'm just kind of having a play today. So not a good example because tracing paper or pattern paper is obviously already translucent, but it makes it even more so, plus gives it a nice textury feel. But I'll show you some of the other ones. I gotta get to them. They're at the very bottom because I showed them at the beginning. There is. Where's my original papers? I've sent my roll of green paper rolling across my craft room floor. I don't know where my original ones is for me to compare for you. But this is brown packaging paper. Not see-through when you first get it or translucent at all. But when you wax it, it gives it some translucency so you can see through it. And what I'm going to do with those is make faux washi tape. I'll have to grab my little envelope again. Had fun. I made a bunch of these yesterday. I've got one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 more envelopes that I'm going to do before I'm done with these. I've got them all piling up in my sample box, storage box. But anyway, so it just kind of makes like an aged tape. If you think about tape from when you were a kid, Wanda, and now it's brown and I have two different ones in here because it was two different. So I have this brown and then I have this one. And then down there I have green, and then I've done it to a bunch of different ones of my coffee dyed papers that I will also cut into strips like this. Just making decoration basically for future journals. Yeah, these are turning out to be really fun. I think I've made like 19 of them now, and only one of them I have actually messed up. Hey, Susie Q. I sent the video to Sis last night. So like I did on the video that I did of these, I showed how you put the colored paper on the inside of the envelope so you don't see, so you don't see this when you pull the tag out. Well, I was watching a live stream while I was doing them, and later when I went to put my hand in, because since this is a brad, you can see that little tiny brown piece of paper in there, right there. That's covering up the brad so that when you slide your tags and stuff in, you're not catching on that brad. Well, I stuck my hand in an envelope to do it, and I didn't see my fingers, and I realized that I actually had glued this backing paper here. I glued it to the front of the envelope instead of the back, so now the window is non-functional. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll use that as a sample in my idea book, since it's not really what it was supposed to be. Susie Q, no, I haven't yet. Our community really kind of sucks for that. I mean, craft shows are hard to begin with because, people that don't craft have this, idea that if they can go to Walmart and buy it for $20, they should be able to buy a homemade, something handmade for the same price. So I live in kind of a toity community, like a hoity-toity community. So it seems to be exponentially worse in that aspect here. But our fair 2 years ago, yeah, 2 or 3 years ago, they started what's called a maker's market, and it's a spot with on the fairgrounds where local artisans can set up a booth for the week and sell their wares. And we were planning on doing it Fair 2022, but all the people that were making stuff for it, myself included, hit a rut of some form or fashion, whether it was just a crafting idea rut, or depression hit, or whatever case may be. One of them changed jobs, so didn't have as much time at that point to craft. But we're going to try next year. We could have done it last year, but as a group, we decided that we didn't have enough inventory to make it worth the cost of doing it, because you do have to rent, you have to rent your booth for the week. And the tables, and you have to pay for power. And so we felt like we just didn't have the inventory at that point to make it worth it. Because I kind of hit a rut in my crafting mojo due to my health stuff. Sam hit a rut in her crafting mojo because of her mental health stuff. And like I said, and the other person changed jobs, and so she was adjusting to her new schedule. So we just didn't have the time, or like I said, or the inventory to really make it worth it last year. Yeah. I've had people ask me about, putting them on TikTok and on my Instagram, and putting them up for sale there. And that's the funny thing, is I still don't really enjoy doing the journals. I enjoy making the stuff that goes in the journals. But making the journals themselves, I'm like, that's the tedious part for me. Especially since, I always seem to forget to think about my cover before I make the cover. And then I get stuck in this, quandary of what I'm going to do for a cover. And that really kind of stalls me out a lot. In fact, that's kind of where I'm at in the journal that I am making, is I'm stuck on the cover. I don't know if I have any delivery updates for Miss Sophie's journal. I'll have to look. Whoop. So I was going to stop, but there's all this extra wax going on here. So I figured I would just do this last bit of pattern paper. Oops. You sell on Etsy as a package that they assemble. You have to do all the work. Possibly. I mean, I have done that in some of my Facebook groups. I'm part of several exchange groups. Where you sign up to do X number of whatever the theme is for the moment. And in one group that I'm in, they call them racks, random acts of kindness, although they're not really random because you're assigned people. And I've sent like pre-assembled signatures and pockets and ephemera and stuff, and then they just have to make the cover and put it all together. And I've done that before, but not as a selling point. Susie is often on my mind frequency, actually. Ooh, my table's hot. But things aren't stuck to it this time. I was saying at the beginning, when I was doing this last night, I didn't put any felt down. I was just ironing straight onto the table. And then I went to put it away and everything was stuck to the table. And then it dawned on me that my table is covered in glue. So here I am ironing on top of glue. So it melted the glue, which of course then melted everything to my table. Or glued everything to my table. So I put some felt down this time. I haven't really decided what I want to do as far as the journals go. But yeah, I mean, if you look around my craft room, I mean, I've got so much supplies already made: tags, pockets, decorated envelopes, paper flowers, these like I said, I made like 19 of these and I've got 11 more envelopes. I've got, just things everywhere. Tags, tabs, just all the pieces that go into a journal. But I don't have any journals to put them in because that's not my favorite part. But I'm really trying to tackle like get into some of the stuff because I've got a lot of supplies that like in the last year I've not even used. And so I'm really trying to step out of that box and start using some of my supplies. Like these brads I've had for 3 years, never used them, which is why I'm making so many of these. So that way I can use some of those brads up. But I mean, I've got a ton of different ones. So these are the ones I'm using for these little envelopes, as these little tiny squares. And these gold ones and the silver ones and these bright shiny copper ones, I'm actually coloring them with black permanent marker, just because it doesn't really fit in the vintage style journal. You got dull bronze versus bright shiny gold. And then I've got these bigger ones in all kinds of colors. That's silver, brushed something or other, copper, shiny silver, dull silver, green, blue, red. That whole box under there is these are all decorative brads. So like clouds, leaves, crowns, and wands. Fish. I even have I have mustaches. Mustaches. You know, but so many different ones, hands and feet. Hands and feet. Apples. Arrows. Itty bitty tiny flowers in all kinds of different colors. So I've got all these brads. I don't know if you can hear the jingle. Oh, maybe go next to my microphone. That might help. Can you guys hear the little jingle? Silver and gold. Little jingle bells on end of brads. But then I also have all these different kinds of eyelets that I don't know what to do with. Get decorative eyelets shaped like butterflies, dragonflies, and then this is a different style butterfly. And I've got these book plates that I don't know. I mean, I have ideas of what to do with them, but I need to do some research to find out whether Fabrifix will hold these in place. But if I can get myself to think about it ahead of time, with the smaller brads, I don't know if they have any small ones in here. I think these are all too big. Oh, there's a small silver one. If I think about it ahead of time, I could, you put the brad through the cover, and then the brads will hold the book plate onto the cover. But again, I got to remember to do that before I assemble the cover. And that's a tricky part for me because my brain doesn't want to do that. So yeah, I'm kind of delving into the brads a little bit more. I'm going to do some stamping a little bit later. I have a ton of stamps that my stamps turn out to be like my shoes. I love buying them, but I'm hardly ever use them. So I got a bunch of stamps that I've never used. And I'm just going to delve into it and stamp it on a paper and then cut out the individual images again so they're ready to go. Stencils. I have a lot of stencils and I hardly ever use them. I really had to resist the temptation because I caught myself looking at stencils online yesterday and I'm like, Laura, you don't even use the ones you have. You don't need to buy any more. Yeah, I've got, I love my Sizzix. I use my Sizzix for die cutting all the time. Um, and I've got a bunch of embossing folders, and I hardly ever use them. I've started using my embossing powders, my heat embossing stuff. Um, for two reasons. Number one is I have an inkjet printer. Um, so things that get wet get ruined. Um, so I've printed stuff out, and then like for fussy cuts, and then once they're cut out, I've heat embossed them just to kind of seal that the ink. Um, but again, it's supplies that I have that I forget I have because they're behind me. When I'm crafting, everything is behind me. If it's not right in front of my face, I forget it's there. I know you have a stash of stamps. You got them from me. Crafting ASMR. Oh, I'm sitting here playing with envelopes. All I have left are my Aflac envelopes. I'm like showing my phone. Like my phone is not the recording. As I have my Aflac envelopes. So since this is the end that gets cut off, I'm going to have a bunch of the little quack quacks. Oh, I have two other ones. Looks like, or three. So this is for my chiropractor, and then my old insurance company. But yeah, most of them are have the quack quacks. Well, yeah, I mean, she's my kid. She lives an hour away. So, um, yeah, when, the stamps I bought, even the hole punches I bought, see, and I hardly ever use those too. Again, they're behind me. Um, but there's not really a way to organize my room where stuff isn't behind me. But I bought this massive amount of um, paper punches, and I actually bought them from her town. So I paid for them, and then she went and picked them up. So she had them at her house for like 2 weeks before I even got to see them. So she was over there playing with them. But once I got them here, I went through and took out all the ones that I wanted, and then let her have the rest of the box, and she got to pick through and keep what she wanted, and then, gift the rest or whatever she did with it. And I did the same thing with the stamps. I answered an ad on Marketplace for a lady. She used to be a rubber stamp distributor. I think that's what they're called. And, she's like, yeah, I've got a few. And I'm like, all right. So, she's out in the middle of nowhere. We got lost like 3 times trying to find her house because the street she lived on, I don't think they believed in like house numbers or anything at the road, even though everybody lives like way off the road. But when we did finally get to her house, out came 6 boxes of stamps. And I'm like, that's more than a few. And so again, and even that went in multiple directions. I took a bunch, she took a bunch, and then I donated a big box of stamps to a grandma in my local town who had recently gained custody of 2 of her grandchildren. And so, suddenly she's trying to figure out how to entertain her 2 grandkids full time. So I put together a craft box, and I a bunch of scrapbook paper and stamps and some ink, stencils, just some crafty yarns, just some crafty stuff for her to be able to engage with her grandkids. But yeah, I don't hardly ever use them. But I'm trying to force myself. Trying to force myself to use my stuff a little more wisely. And as I consolidate and organize, hopefully I clear a little bit of space of my workspace in front of me that I can bring some of those tools into my purview a little bit more, so that way they're not constantly getting forgotten. I still have a ton. Oh, there's my roll of toilet paper. I went to blow my nose and I couldn't find my roll of toilet paper. It fell into my bag of collage fodder, which I still have a ton of. Let's see if I can get it under there. And I'll just grab one handful. There's one handful out of this bag. And there's probably easily 4 more handfuls like this in this bag. I'm going to be collaging forever. But that's okay. Let's see if I can do this without dropping them. That's what happened last time when I was trying to clean up my mess. I had the big old handful of them, and they fell out of my hand, and I had to get them all up, pick them all up off the floor. Because, papers don't all stick together when they're not all the same size. Oops, see, dropping. At least it's not a duck. Whoop, drop some more. So I did watch a video. Tina at Shabby Dabby Doodah is doing a series on using up some lace, which again, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drawers of lace, and I hardly ever use it. No, not gonna blow my nose in my shirt. Hardly ever use my lace, especially the big lace. I use the cute little, the little ruffly stuff. I use it in my journals as to run along the pages. Every once in a while, I'll use like an inch or two wide one to make as a pocket. But other than that, I don't really use my laces, but I buy it all the time. I buy it a lot. So it's kind of cool that she's doing this series on using lace. So I've got some ideas there, and one of her ideas has at least sparked an idea for what I can do with my collage masterboards, because I have a ton of them. I don't know where my book is that I'm working on, actually. I've pulled it in and out of my collage box so many times, or my collage bag. Oh, look, there's a pair of scissors in my collage bag. There's a pair of scissors in there. Where did I put that book? I'll just grab a different one and show you what I'm talking about. So we all get these kinds of things in the mail, right? I'm like, did I just flash my address? But so we all get like these little booklets of, you know, various pages, you know, size, whatever. So when I get these in the mail, this is what I do with them. Is I go through and I collage on each page. This was a bad example because it's only two pages. Could do the covers, front and back. What I have discovered though is that when I store them, it usually messes up my corners and it lifts some of that up. But yeah, watching her videos, she gave an idea on how to use collage masterboards with lace. So I'm going to have a play with that, and that might be another live stream that I do. Should just see. And when I say I've got a lot, I mean I've got a lot. So these were out of a cookbook. Got that one, that one. This is what's left of one. Did one with maps. Yeah, this was all a cookbook. And these are collaged with coffee dyed paper on the back. So they're already ready to cut up. And this is a good example. See, because there's not the cover, the papers are getting caught. Just gonna put some glue down real quick. I got it out. And my collage style has changed a lot since I first started this. These were obviously very woo, 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 cattywampus. Whereas these are more linear. We'll see you later, Susie. I have these. That one's not done. These were from my old work. Oh, this was Emma's at Fair. This one's not done. I have these ones. These ones are inked on all of the edges. Yeah, all of those. And another one of these. This was fun. Setting my, I had a plate of coffee and I set a cup into it. I did coffee cup stains. That was fun. This one. This one. This one. This one. And the one that's lost in my craft room somewhere. So, as I said, when I say I've got a bunch of collage masterboards, I'm not joking. I mean, all of these are full. And then I have all of these loose ones to figure out what to do with. And, you know, contrary to my daughter's belief, there's only so many tags you can do. All right, Missy, since you're the only one left in here, I think I'm going to go ahead and bounce out. That way I don't feel bad when somebody pops in and I'm like, oh, see ya. So don't forget to hit the like button, and replay crew, thanks for stopping in. And please hit the like button. And we will catch you on the next stream. Always keep an eye out for random video drops. I don't always come on live when I'm crafting, but sometimes I'll film stuff that I am working on and just upload it like that. So keep an eye out for video drops as well as future live streams. Other than that, thanks for stopping in, and I will catch up with y'all later. Peace out. Peace.